Hi guys, today I'm going to be reading Let the Children March by Monica Clark Robinson and illustrated by Frank Morrison. This book is all about the children's marches that took place in Birmingham, Alabama in May of 1963 during the Civil Rights Movement. So right when we open the book, we see a timeline of civil rights and the Children's Crusade. It walks us from January up to May when the marches begin. "1963, Birmingham, Alabama. I couldn't play on the same playground as the white kids. I couldn't go to their schools. I couldn't drink from their water fountains. There were so many things I couldn't do. One warm spring night, my family went to church. We weren't there to have regular services. We were there to hear Dr. King speak. We were there to plan. We wanted to raise an army of peaceful protesters to fight for freedom. His brown eyes flashing fire and love, Dr. King told us the time had come to march. If I march, Mama said, I'll lose my job sure enough. I can't march, Daddy said. I got a family to feed. The weight of the world rested on our parents' shoulders. But this burden, this time, did not have to be theirs. I don't have a boss to fear, my brother said, or a job to lose. We can march this time. We'll be Dr. King's army, I said. I'll be fine, Daddy, I promised. Don't worry, Mama. Dr. King didn't like children being put in harm's way. He was a daddy too, after all. But he said that, though we were young, we were not too young to want our freedom. Let the children march. They will lead the way. On May 2nd, a sunny Thursday, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, we all met at the church, dressed in our best, feet ready. In silence so loud that all I could hear was my racing heart, we began to walk. Hand in hand we marched, so frightened yet certain what was right for freedom. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Would I be hurt? Would we be heard? Would it all be worth it in the end? I wanted to run from the angry faces in the crowd, run from danger, run from fear. Boys and girls, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, on and on we marched. We marched, we marched. Singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came. Hate dogged my heels all that day, its yellowed canine teeth sharp, but courage walked by my side and kept me going. Disperse or you'll be jailed, the police shouted the first day. Disperse or you'll get wet, the police shouted the second day. Disperse or we'll release the dogs, the police shouted the third day. We did not disperse. We kept on marching. We would not stop until things started to change. Hundreds of us went to jail on the first day, and even more on the second. My turn wasn't until the third day. After I was sprayed by water, stronger than anything I've ever felt, rough hands pushed me forward and I fell onto my knees in the police wagon. I was going to jail. Dr. King reassured our parents. Don't worry about your children, he said. They're going to be all right. Don't hold them back if they want to go to jail, for they are doing a job not only for themselves, but for all of America and for all mankind. That night, crowded into a cell too small, for even half of the kids we sang, "We shall overcome," "Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round," and "Freedom is coming." Our parents couldn't be there with us, but we still sang, wrapped in the proud and loving arms of our ancestors. I was still in jail, but we heard the next day, and the next, more kids marched. The water hoses they used to sting us could not stop our fierce tide. The path may be long and troubled, but I'm gonna walk on. Turn the other cheek, we had been taught. Show love where there is hate. The world watched as hate bruised us, but for 7 days we walked only in love. The jails swelled to bursting, and even President Kennedy took notice. Daddy said the president received letters and calls about us from all over the world. Our march would become a memory, a small part of a larger story, but we had been heard, and the seeds of revolution were sown. 2 days and nights I stayed in the jail, some even longer. When I left, I was tired and sore, and my best dress was ripped, but my smile was as wide as the Mississippi River. I had made a difference. "I am so proud of you, baby girl," Mama said. "Your march was what made them see." With nothing more than our feet, voices, and courage, we had done what others could not. Change was right around the corner. We felt it like a cool breeze in an Alabama August. On May 10th, the great news rang out. Dr. King had reached an agreement with the white leaders of the city. Desegregation would begin. 1 month later, I was playing on a playground I'd never been allowed to play on before. 2 months later, my family ate at a diner we'd never been allowed to eat in before. Our march made the difference. We children led the way. Singing the songs of freedom, 1,000 strong we came. And then on the final pages, we have an afterword about the actual event that took place, an artist statement, some quote sources and bibliography, and then actual pictures of the marches. And then the back cover shows the rest of the timeline that began on the front cover, starting with June of 1963 after the marches, leading to 1964 when the Civil Rights Act was passed, and then ends in August of 1965, the Voting Rights Act. Thanks for listening. Below in the description, I attached a worksheet with questions that you can use with your students. You can use them before reading the book, during reading the book, and after reading the book. This is a great book with beautiful illustrations about the Birmingham marches and a really, really great book to use in your classrooms to teach your students about the civil rights movement.